Welcome to another edition of the Empower Hour. I am AlQamar.
And I'm Hanifah.
And we are your hosts each and every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. You can find us right here in the Elife Studios, coming to you live and direct with impactful topics of discussion that affect our everyday lives. This week will be no different. If you guys tuned in last week, you know we did a show on male bashing. And women will not be outdone, because this week we're going to jump right in and balance this equilibrium, and we're doing female bashing this week. So in the studio we have with us my near and dear friend, Mrs. Nikki Jewelz. She's here to help us in this discussion, and hopefully you guys can assist us as well. If you want to call into the program, and please feel free. The number is 240-455-5934. And please share the discussion with your other Facebook friends. Hanifah, how you feeling this week?
I'm okay. It's hot.
Yeah.
Extremely humid.
Yeah. They said they were letting the children out
They
early.
They let
today
PG County School earlier.
because of the heat.
The heat. Yep.
Wow, that's interesting.
I think we're supposed to have another hot day tomorrow too. So let's see how that pans out. Yeah.
Right. And so, if you're wondering why we have 3 people, not 4 like last week, we did have Elder who was scheduled to be with us today, and she's unable. She had some health situations she had to tend to, so she couldn't join us last minute. So we're gonna roll on with the punches, and get started. So Nikki, how you feel?
I'm feeling good today, although like you said, it is hot.
It is.
Oh, goodness, trying to get my composure, but yes, it's very hot, but I'm feeling lovely. I'm feeling great. As always, I always have a positive attitude. You always see a smile on my face, don't you?
Yes, you do. Always and forever. Female bashing. When you hear that term, what is the first thoughts that go through your mind?
When I think about female bashing or women bashing, it makes me upset. It makes me so angry because I just realize there's too much of it. I think one of the reasons why there's a lot of it, because there are a lot of people that are mad out here. People are mad. They're angry at God knows what. And as far as women are concerned, depending on where the female bashing is coming from, be it a male or a female, I think it has to do with some psychological issues, to be honest, or somebody's upbringing. I think the key word here is respect, because I believe that even if you did respect if you have general respect for the common man, you're a human being, you shouldn't be out there woman bashing anybody, or male bashing for that matter.
Yeah.
So that's my overall stance on it.
Yeah. As it relates to relationships, and is it possible for men, you think, to be bitter?
Yes.
We always hear that term, and it's relegated to women.
Yes.
So
I think there are a lot of bitter men out there. I mean, let's face it, especially, I'm seeing it even more now than ever. A lot of men are hurt out there. A lot of women in their lives, I won't say an ex-girlfriend or something like that, but a lot of women have disappointed them. And so they're moving along in life, not really trusting us, not really believing what we say, or they don't believe in us. They don't believe in us like they used to. I think the first woman to probably ever hurt a man is a woman, is his mama, or somebody very close to him at a young age. I don't think you just grow up with that. Like, something happened. Yeah. I relate it all to some kind of trauma or something having to happen to someone that make them feel a certain kind of way. And unfortunately, as far as relationships go, you wind up, a lot of women wind up trying to fix that for these men, and you can't. You just can't. They just have to deal with it, or they have to go through the backstory of why they feel that way and get over it, and then then can you like have a healthy relationship with any woman, or as it relates to relationships, work, anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just something that you just have to deal with. A lot of women, again, I've been one of those women trying to fix a broken man that had a bad attitude. I'm like, okay, hey, you know what? I'm not like that. So let me show you how it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're not able to receive that from you,
Mm-hmm.
It's a lost cause.
You drain yourself.
You
Through
drain
the
yourself.
process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
women, we're the nurturers, the fixers, and all that other good
Yeah.
stuff. So, but you can't fix everything. It's an issue that just has to be dealt with.
Because like you talk about equilibrium, life is about balance,
Mm-hmm.
and which means withdrawal and deposits have to be made in our lives, and that sounds very draining on an individual, because that person needs so much. They're taking
Yeah.
before you know it, you ain't got nothing else to give, and because they have not, they cannot replenish you, because
Right.
they're unable to, they don't have the capacity to at that time. Of course, there's room for growth, like
Right.
you just said, if they seek out to sort out whatever their issues are. Yeah.
Right.
I think
But-
a lot of it just stems from the pointing the finger. Because I think as long as you're pointing the finger at the other person, making the other person your problem, the issue, you're never taking the time to focus on yourself and look
True.
within and come to any realizations that, hold up, wait a minute, what am I doing to contribute to what's going on
Right.
in my cipher?
Right.
So I think that when you say it's a moot point, because it's like, I think a lot of us are so stubborn and rock-headed to where, the ego, they want to get the point across. No, it's
Yeah.
you. And never even stop it to even slightly consider that, wait a minute, I might be adding to this drama here.
Right.
And so you never get to a peaceful place because the finger is always pointed outwards.
Right.
I always get I always feel saddened because I spend a lot of time on social media.
Yeah, I was
That's
too.
my outlet. I'm a writer. I love to
Yeah.
write, and I use Facebook mainly for blogging, for writing,
Right.
and expressing myself. So I'm on there a lot, and so I read a lot of comments, and I always find that like if a man has something to say negatively about a woman, the woman or somebody else guaranteed is going
Right.
to jump on and
Oh,
be
yeah.
like, well, you too, well, y'all too, and then it becomes a headbutt. Nobody stops to take a minute, a breather, to say, well, what can we do to help each other or solve this issue?
Right.
It's always somebody making it the other person's fault.
Well, one of the things I'll say about that too, when I see posts like that on social media, my main thing is like, okay, if you're going to say something, sure, you can have an opinion about something, about a woman or a situation you've been in, but you know how they have that hashtag, I don't own the rights to this music?
Yeah.
They need to have the hashtag, in my opinion, based on my experiences, because people put things out there and it doesn't apply to every female or every
Right.
male. Hashtag from my experience. You know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, all right, you can say what you want to say based on your experience or based such and such and such and such. But that doesn't mean that goes for all women. All women are this, all women are that. All men are this, all men are that. This is just based on your experience.
So I have a question, because I know we've talked about this when we talk about statistics versus what's being pushed on social media, television, media period. And so oftentimes they're not the same, you know. So I know on social media it can be overwhelming with the bashing, right? Now, is this something that you're seeing in your just everyday life outside of social media?
That's
like
a
the
good
men
question.
you're around, you know, because that's a fair question.
That's
You
a
know,
good
is that something that we're hearing? Because I know from my end, I hear exactly what your sentiments were in the beginning, which a lot of men are hurt.
Yes.
Not necessarily that I hate women, but it's that I don't trust y'all.
Right.
Because I'm hurt.
Right.
But the same thing I'll hear my sisters say, I'm hurt. You know, men do this or men do that. So I hear more hurt than anything. But when you go on social media, it's like this venom.
Yeah.
It's like this deliberate attack to destroy
Right.
the feminine, right? So
Right.
is that something that you're seeing in your everyday life outside of social media?
I would have to probably say no. I think that it happens. I mean, it's happened to me. It's happened to some of my friends, but no, not like that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Social media, yes. I mean, obviously, social media has given everybody the platform.
From all over, right?
From all over to do God knows what and say
Right.
God knows what. But yeah, no. Just based on # my personal experiences.
Right.
That's what I'm speaking from. You know,
Okay.
and from what I've seen, I take bits and pieces of my friends, you know, those situations, and that's what I'm basing my opinion on.
Yeah.
And
You know.
I've seen on some of your posts that you're talking about where, you know, like you've tagged me like, we're really hurt out here. Like you could just say one
right.
thing, but and I agree, social media gives people not nationally, nationwide access
Right.
to one particular status. So it can be overwhelming because you're talking about men and women from all over the United States, sometimes internationally, chiming in. So it can seem like, wow, this is a huge issue, you know.
Yeah.
But the bashing goes to like another level. Like we talk about women calling each other bees, but usually when men are talking about women, and didn't I hear you refer to women as bees? I always feel like there's some underlying stuff going on there with that, because it's especially the tone in which it's said.
Yeah.
You know, these
Yeah.
bees, this, you know.
Right.
And I
Yeah.
always question that, but that's like people in everyday some guys in everyday conversations. Now I've asked this to the guys. I just need to be clear on, is there, like, where do we draw the line on holding each other accountable and being overly critical, or to the point where we cross over into bashing?
I think, and while you're thinking about that, you know, I think that it becomes dangerous when we use so much vitriol behind what we're doing as opposed to communicating with each
Right.
other. I can have a disagreement with my brother, or a brother can have a disagreement with me, and not put me in a category of a bee, of a hoe, of you stinking. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, why can't you tell me what it is that you disagree about without pouring so much anger and hate and frustration out
I'm
of
gonna
me?
tell you why, because we forgot how to communicate. People text. They're chicken. When somebody texts me about issues or want to have a discussion with me via text, I'm done, because I can't go back and forth with
Yeah.
you. You need to open up your
Not
mouth and
about serious
communicate.
topics,
Now,
yeah.
of course, I'm older. You know, some young person out there may say, that's what we do, blah, 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 blah. But you cannot communicate just via text. You just can't. I think that's chicken. I think that's being chicken. You know, you too chicken to say what you need to say. But I think there is a such thing as a healthy argument, a healthy disagreement.
Right.
You know, it's fine. You have your opinion, I have mine. We don't have to go to that level. But if I think we go to that level when somebody feels attacked. Why they feel attacked? Because it may conjure up some kind of feeling that they've had or whatever, that somebody said to them in a tone maybe that they didn't like, and the way that you said it, you know, probably set them off.
Point. And
You
a
know
lot
what I
of
mean?
those feelings go way back to even childhood.
Yes,
It
absolutely.
really does.
You know, the question.
Undealt with scenario.
Yeah, the question that I've seen a lot of recently, actually, I saw a YouTube panel, and the question was asked in general, but Lord, our brothers were outnumbered. It was 2 to like 6 women. I was like,
Oh,
bless
Lord.
their heart. So the question was asked, do black men protect black women? And one of the brothers on there, he wasn't struggling, but like he was saying, I think from his own experience, he was like, I have uncles who are married to their wives. I have my father who's married to my mother, and they protect their women. So when you ask me that, it's not that simple for me, because a part of me will say yes. I feel like we do, because that's my experience. But you're asking me a very general, broad question. But black women don't stumble over that question. Black women would tell you straight up, no.
Right.
I've seen the question asked on social media.
Right.
We've asked the question in person, and it's just like black woman response is no. We don't feel, and I think a part of it is that bashing piece, where one person can say one thing and all the wolves come out, and you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Or something happened with a black woman, and it's like, see, that's because black women don't da da da. If black
Right.
women would just A B C D, and I'm like, what the brothers have to help us? You know, they're outnumbered. And I'm not saying that black women can do no wrong.
Right.
If we are wrong, we should be called out on that wrong. I
Right.
truly believe in that, and we really we should hold each other accountable.
Right.
We should hold our sisters accountable, and we should have space to allow our brothers to hold us accountable.
Yes.
However, whenever we attack, it is us, and we are. Honestly, most of the times you'll see black women. We don't really ask them any questions. It's recently when that brother. If we feel like you've abandoned us, you know, when the brother had the Asian chick.
Yeah.
Okay, and he died.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was black woman was like, nope.
Well, he got shot and killed by the police.
Yes.
Swam up the backyard.
So
Oh,
right,
yeah.
so things like that you'll see us back off. But for the most part, I feel like black women kind of step up
Yeah.
without giving it a second thought when it comes to our men. And I feel from what I'm hearing, not just on social media, but in my circles, you know, outside of social media, is that black women don't feel that they receive the same sentiment.
Yeah, because for me, it goes. The question in my mind when I hear men bashing women, especially brothers bashing us,
Yeah.
I always think like, whose side are you on? Whose side are you on? Why are
Right.
you trying to destroy me?
Right,
We're
right.
partners in this thing.
Is it
You know?
destroying us, or is it just publicly destroying us? Because I feel like there are some things where I look at and said, no, she was wrong. Like some videos, because this is where these comments come from. It might be a video and a sister is going off, right?
Yeah.
And it's like I'm looking at the video like, girl, if you don't calm down, and so there are black men around, and instead of intervening, they're taping or whatever. And some
Right.
black men feel like, no, she was in the wrong.
Yeah.
And I am not defending that,
But-
right? However, I truly believe in that moment. I don't know if y'all seen the video with the DC girl. She bashed the bus.
Oh yeah.
Okay, in that video, there's a video circulating. I think she was arrested.
Right.
She took the thing that she pumped the car up with.
Oh, yeah.
The jack.
Yes, the jack. She took it out her trunk, went off, bashed in the public transportation window,
Right.
the bus driver. The bus driver was an older white man. And so the white man came off the bus. He was off the bus. He stood in front of her car, which I think was really silly.
Right.
And then the guy who was on the bus, he sounded like he was Hispanic. He was taping. And once she started to push the man off of her hood so she can drive off, the Hispanic guy said, whoa, whoa, whoa. And he went after her. This black guy came from out of nowhere and pretty much stood in front of her. She was wrong, but he stood in front of her and said, you don't have to put your hand on her. To that Hispanic guy.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were saying, yes, she was wrong, but I applaud him for
Yeah.
doing that.
Right.
So when I said, I mean, like, I personally feel publicly, if a sister needs protecting, especially if it's a man about to put his hands on her, I think you should step up if there's no weapons or whatever involved.
agree.
And then maybe later, like after everything is settled,
Right.
she could be pulled up.
Yes.
I feel like when we do it in public, when it's done to us in public, is where it makes it like, ugh.
Yeah, but you know what though?
Yeah.
I've heard
Yeah.
that's interesting that you say that, and that how it'd be nice to see more of the brothers step up to us and stuff like that. But I've heard on more than one occasion about the fact that when you see stuff like that, where we probably should stand up and say something, that most of us don't, because that person turns around and gets on you and like, what are you doing? You know, especially in a relationship type of a male female type of situation, a domestic
I agree.
situation.
That one I agree with.
People say, "Oh no, I'm not going to help. I'm not going to get involved," because and sometimes I've seen instances where the couple have turned
on
around
you.
on the person like, mind your business, like, oh, I'm
Right.
trying to help you out.
Right.
So me, unfortunately, and I've been told, I've been told to just shut up and be quiet or whatever, but I just can't.
Right.
I was just gonna
Sometimes
say
I
that.
mean,
Right.
I'll just like if I see
Right.
some disrespect going on, you know, I may say something, maybe, you know, under my breath, maybe not directly, but it is heard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have
Yeah.
to say something. I
Yeah.
cannot allow for that to go. And now nothing has happened to me yet.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. But you know what I mean? I haven't gotten up in people's faces. But I'm like, hey, sis, you need some help or
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I mean?
That's because you see that there's an injustice taking place. And
Yes.
the-
Period.
the-
I'm a
you know,
human
yeah,
being.
Right. You want to see. Right. You
not
want to
black
see
or white.
right. Now, I agree with that. People will say that I'm not getting involved. It's like, okay, well, it doesn't matter if the other person comes back. For me, my duty and obligation is to do the right thing.
Right.
Now, whatever the outcome comes, whatever they do
Afterwards.
for that,
Right.
it's that has nothing to do with me doing the right thing.
Right.
Yeah,
So
some
we-
of us would tape someone getting killed because
Yeah.
of that. Because
Yeah.
I'm not getting
Stupid.
involved. That's
Right.
like saying I will watch someone, boyfriend, whoever, choke them out because there's a possibility that she will. This happens all the time, and she'll go back. That's ridiculous.
What's
Yeah.
the Martin
He's
Luther
about to
King-
choke her to death.
What's the Martin Luther King quote? Something about the person who stands neutral in a time of injustice is just as guilty as the
yeah.
one who's doing the injustice.
Yeah.
It's real talk.
Yeah.
Real talk. Okay, guys, if you're just tuning in, you are watching the Empower Hour with Hanifah and I. We do this each and every Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. Nikki is joining us, Miss Nikki Jewelz, in the studio today, and we are talking about women bashing. If you want to join the discussion, give us a call at 240-455-5934. So, like, my question is, like, who wins when we go at each other? What is the benefit that comes from that type of?
Well, I'll
Back and
say
forth.
this. I'll say this. The only benefit that I get out of going back and forth is now I know. I feel like I left with more information than I came with. I mean, and that's simple.
About that individual.
About the
Yeah.
or the situation or the
Okay.
individual. So a lot of times, let's say, like how we were talking about on social media, a lot of women and male bashing go on because of somebody will post a certain topic and then people are going back and forth, women this, women that, women this. And so the benefit to me when I'm looking at stuff like that and I see the comments from the men, I'm like, wow, you really feel that way. So I get that. Now, of course, I'm like, okay, you really feel that way, but what? So then the next question I ask myself, well, damn, what happened to you? You know what I mean? But I don't have the time to go back and forth with somebody to dig further into their psyche to
Yeah.
figure out
Right.
what's really the problem here. You know what I mean? So sometimes, though, with the bashing, going back and forth, I don't think there's any winners or losers. I think there's, you just know a little bit more about that person that you're dealing with. You could choose to continue or take it for what it is and peace out, or use it for, I don't know, you can use the information for better good because I've had discussions that made me go home and talk to my sons, based on how certain men feel about women or what's going on out here, whatever. So I mean, I think that there's some benefit, although it's not necessarily right. It depends on how it's said.
Is it healthy?
Not the bashing. I think you could just have a discussion. Clearly, bashing equals some kind of
To destroy, to
disagreement.
tear down.
Yeah, to tear down. And like for somebody to come at you like that, the whole woman bashing thing, something is seriously wrong with you, the other person. In my opinion, based on my experiences.
No, I'm thinking of
know.
some things that because I'm very careful even with differentiating what bashing is and what things that actually hold truth to them. And so some of the common things we hear is one, women don't listen.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we don't.
Mhm.
That is not woman bashing to me. I'm like, we don't. I mean, really?
Right.
We got
Some
every,
women.
most of us do not listen, especially especially in a situation where if we feel that person is wrong, especially a man, well, we're not just not going to listen. We're going to take control of the entire situation. You're going to wake up and stuff just going to be put where it's supposed to go in the first place. And you know what I'm saying? So women, that's the other thing I'm going to go into. Women don't listen. Second, women don't know how to let men lead. Now, that's a
That's a big
Oh.
one.
that's
That
a
is
big
a
one.
big
Men
one.
say that all the time. Now, I don't know.
Oh, I have an answer for that.
Yeah, because I live on the other end.
Yeah.
Will have an explanation for that.
Yeah.
We have an explanation for not listening. women are always right. We are always right. No, but these things hold some truth if we are in tune with ourselves and we're honest about the people, the women who are wrong us. I can say there's a lot of that holds truth. We do tend to think that we're right most of the time. Okay, but I've also met men, you can't tell them nothing. because they just run the world. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, that's that patriarchy whole thing you got going on. Relax yourself. You know, I think we both can learn, but there are some things that hold true that I think we jump on the bandwagon of your woman bashing. And I'm like, no, I don't necessarily think that's what that is. It's an observation.
I think it's a communication barrier.
Yeah.
Big time. It's a communication barrier going
so.
on to where we just can't have a decent, civilized discussion. I mean, we can, but it seems to
It's difficult.
right.
It's challenging.
And again, even especially on social media. And I don't know why, because I'm hearing you when you say
The best
that,
place.
and you too, Nikki, when you say that that's not your experience out in the world, though, in the real world, when you're interacting with people. And that's probably because your personality is one of bubbly.
Yeah.
You high-spirited. You know what I'm saying? You happy most of the time.
Right.
And so you attract, I'm a firm believer that you attract who you are.
Right.
And so,
Good point.
you know, and so those type of people with similar characteristics are going to be drawn to your circle.
Right.
So you may not find the whole bashing
In your circle.
like
yeah.
you would online.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and then online too. Now I've seen this many a times where people come in here and they be just the sweetest, kindest, gentlest souls, and then I log online and that same person is online. I'm like,
You be looking like, I know you.
Wow.
I know you in real life.
yeah. I'm like, where's all this energy coming from? So Facebook gives you like wings or something.
Yeah.
Gives you
Superpowers.
vibranium or something to go
The power of
far.
criticism.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting dynamic in and of itself.
Yeah.
So that whole social
That's why
media-
we need to have more conversations, face-to-face conversations,
Yeah.
like as far as even between the genders, because I think social media, it tends to just, a lot gets lost in translation,
Yeah.
and then also people just use the opportunity to like zoom in on one small thing. There's a lot of people who are triggered
Yeah.
by things on social media,
said,
right?
yeah.
And they just respond based.
Underline
It
stuff.
could be one thing in your status, the first sentence. They can't even get to the other 3 sentences
Oh,
because
yeah.
they zoom in on that one, and so now some part of them is kind of hurt or offended, and they come off nasty. But I think if we have the one-on-one, and like you say, you rough through it.
Right.
You know, so by the end of it, each person is coming out with something different,
Right.
some kind of growth. You know what I mean?
And I think it depends on also too different people's stages in their lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because development stages in
Yeah.
their lives.
Good
Because
point.
I've seen some young women, and the men that bash them, and they're young.
Good point.
And they're making all of these mistakes and they're figuring it out. And it's like, hey, wait a minute. You got to remember, these people are like 20, they're early 20s. They're figuring it out. That, they're going to make all the same mistakes that we made. A lot of us look, some of us, older. People, we look, we see this stuff and we're like, what in the world's going on? But you know what, though? That's their truth. That's their little journey that they have to go through
Right.
to get to probably where
Just
we
like
are
you,
right now.
just like
you know
you
what I
had
mean?
to, yeah.
Right.
So,
Well, we're kind of midway in between the programming, so I'm going to take a moment to share with you where we are and some of the things we do here at Everlasting Life, located at 9185 Central Avenue in Capitol Heights, Maryland. Everlasting Life is a vegan restaurant and lounge, but so much more. As you can see, we're right here inside of the beautiful Elife Studios. So if you're interested in doing any of some air showing for your own self, you have a voice out there that you think other people need to hear, consider us here at Elife Studios. Everlasting Life is one of 3 locations. The other 2 are located in the Tacoma Park section of Washington, D.C. There's Evolve Restaurant and Lounge with a full bar, and Bigaritos. Same great tasting food at 3 different locations. Right here at Everlasting Life, each and every Thursday night, children eat free from 6 to 9 p.m. So not only do they eat free, eat a healthy, wholesome meal, but they join other children right here in the lounge area, and it becomes a huge playroom for them. So bring the children out. That's each and every Thursday right here at Everlasting Life. Following that up, on Fridays, I host the Dinner and a Movie. So each and every Friday from 7 to 9 p.m., we air a different documentary, mainly, and something centered around us as a people, some information you don't readily hear about in the mainstream. So if you're interested in those type of documentaries, join us here at the Dinner and a Movie, and then we have a discussion that follows each movie. So that's every Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. Every first Saturday of the month is our Black Wall Street Renaissance, where we take the full lounge area, we fill it with small business owners, vendors, and you come and shop. So it's always something fun, exciting to shop for. We host different vendors every month, and that takes place again every first Saturday of the month from 12 to 6 p.m. If you're interested in vending with us, just give us a shout out on Eventbrite, bwsr.eventbrite.com. Marketplace, every third Saturday of the month, we host another marketplace, but this one is centered around healthy food, fresh produce, natural supplements, vegan grocery, herbs and spices, and so much more. That takes place every third Saturday of the month from 11 to 4 p.m. right here at Everlasting Life, again, which is 9185 Central Avenue inside of the Kingdom Square Shopping Center. Again, the broadcasting call. So if you're interested in coming in broadcasting here at Everlasting Life, we are interviewing for engineering. So if you have some engineer background, give us a shout out. You can find us on elifestudios.com. If you want to host your own show, reach out there and we'll give you more information on that as well. All right, well, we're back into the programming. And if you wanted to give us a call, the number is 240-455-5934. If you have a voice out there, you really want to get your point across, now is the time to do it. 240-455-5934. We'd love to hear from you. Anybody saying anything on the stream that you want to share?
No. Wasita was just responding to a comment that Nikki made, and she just said, so true.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Hey, Wasita. You know, I want to share a story. Years ago, it was like 4 of us in a car. I had to be maybe in my early 20s. It was 4 of us. And we were driving down the street, and this guy cut us off, right? And so, you know, we young, we spunky, we energetic. We like, no, he didn't. So we get up to the light, and we side by side. So we roll the window down, and when I tell you, we was giving this man, giving it to him. I mean, all 4 of us. We all out the window. You cut us off, you stupid. I mean, we was giving it to him. And this man rolled his window down. I'll never forget this. And he said, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Queens. Could y'all please forgive me for that? I did not mean to do that. You know, it was not my intent. I'm sorry. But you should have seen our faces. Every last one of us was stuck. What do you say to that? You know what I'm saying? So we just kindly rolled our window back up. But what I remember about that moment is that it was a silent drive for like at least another 2 minutes. None of us said anything. We was absorbing that moment. And I bring that up because I'm thinking about the male bashing scenario and the female bashing scenario. And how quick, now, if that man could have easily rolled down the window, gave us the finger, you know, went back at her, all that, but he chose to take the higher road.
Right.
He disarmed you guys.
He disarmed us.
That's a good way to put it.
He disarmed us. We had nothing
somebody.
else to say. And I learned a valuable lesson from that moment. It's like how you choose to communicate. You hold the power.
Yes.
We each individually hold the power with how we choose to communicate with one another.
Right.
You're right, because when you say hold the power, that person, so it's like basketball. It's like passing the ball to someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, people say, well, the ball is in your court. So when someone makes the initial move, now they're waiting for a response from you. The ball is now in your court. So if they're up here, they're escalated when they come to you and they approach you. Now you have a decision to make. You either gonna meet them up there, or you're gonna attempt to bring them down.
Yeah.
Because you know that if you meet them up, this is war zone up here. Y'all gonna just be in an all-out war. because you know what came to my mind? There's a Proverbs in the Bible, and here I go quoting scripture. But
That's all right.
there's a Proverbs in the Bible where it says, "A soft answer turneth away wrath."
Say it again.
A soft answer. This is King James version. A soft answer turneth away wrath. Right? And and that's what as soon as you said, I'm like, yeah, you disarm people, because truly, you guys were ready for a fight.
Right.
In that moment, and that guy is like, "There's no fight here."
Yeah.
And I love that you made that you brought that story up, because there's a lesson in that.
Yes, it
even
was.
in how we communicate with each other. So it doesn't make you weak
Right.
to say, "No, I'm not
It
going
makes
to
you
do this."
smart.
It actually makes you powerful.
That's right.
And it makes you aware of the power that you have
Yes.
in that moment to shift the whole atmosphere.
yeah.
Right.
Right.
Killing with kindness.
Exactly.
That's what
Right.
comes to
Yeah,
mind
exactly.
with that scripture.
Yeah.
We have a call. Caller, are you there? Caller?
Thomas, is that you calling? He said, "I'm calling now."
Hello. Can you hear us?
Okay, we're going to try to get you on the line, so don't hang up just yet. We're still working on getting you up in our audio department. Not sure why we're not able to get you up, but if you can, just keep,
Just hold on, Thomas, if that's you. Or I'm looking at the screen now if you want to type your question.
I have another comment. Oh, yes. Also, yes. If you have questions and we're having difficulty getting you in on the line, you can always type it, because I can see the questions as they come in on our live. Sorry. So also, just to speak to one more point around what the story you just shared. Even in relationships, you talked earlier about where, if someone is bashing to that degree, that there's some reason why.
Yeah.
Right. And this is the thing. Knowledge is power. Right? So that means you come in contact with someone speaking like that, you automatically know this is not personal.
Right.
This person got some other
Right,
things
has
going
nothing to
on.
do with me.
Exactly. And I think that right there, you have to use that information.
Yes.
You have to use that information to your advantage.
Yes.
And you have to use, we need to be more creative in how we communicate with
It's
each
in
other.
the conference.
Right.
And so we have to be able to see it. Like you said, I'm seeing that something is going on with you. This isn't personal. And then just sit and have a conversation. You'll be surprised.
Yeah.
But we don't want to do that. As soon as somebody rise up, we want to rise up to and meet them up there. We really don't know how to back down.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's-
on both sides.
It's almost as if we get a rise and a rush out of hurting one another.
Yeah.
Some people do.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But
But that's when it comes down to what is going on then. What is going on with
Yeah.
you that you want to cause inflict pain?
I you know what, that whole
Hello?
Oh,
There we
hi,
go.
Thomas.
Yes.
Hey,
Okay.
hey.
All right, we got you on.
We
Thank
got
you
you
so
on.
much for being patient with us.
No problem.
Yes, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Bowie, Maryland.
Bowie,
Bowie,
Maryland.
in the house.
Okay, what's on your mind?
Okay, I was calling in response to what you all are talking about as far as the woman bashing. I don't think it's like one particular reason. I think it's a combination of, I do think some of it has to do with people's mothers, and I hate to use this for an example. I've read a couple of books. I'm sure y'all have heard of Iceberg Slim.
Yes.
Okay, and when I was reading his books, a lot of the reasons he got into, prostitution was because of his respect, or he lost respect for his mother. So that was one of the reasons why he kind of started disrespecting women. I think the other reason is, I think it's kind of happening more nowadays than it used to be, in the past. Not that it didn't happen in the past, but I think a lot of fathers are not necessarily in a lot of these boys' lives to really show them how to act or how to treat women. And I also think the further we go into the future, it's just some of the, I want to say the behaviors or the qualities that men used to have a long time ago are just kind of starting to be lost.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give you a perfect example. I'm 48 years old, and my father was kind of in and out of my life, but I had a godfather who now he's like in his mid-90s. So I guess the way they used to be back, the 20s, 30s, whatever back then, I think people just had a lot more respect for women. So I think a lot of the traits that he had kind of transferred to me. So I got most of my how to respect women, not necessarily from my father's generation, but from the generation before that.
That makes sense.
So I just think a lot of this stuff, and then the other part of that is I think a lot of people just, it's the peers that they keep.
Yep.
So I think it's a combination of all that. And even if you took the same exact person, then you put them in all those 3 different categories, it's like medicine. The same medicine is not going to work the same for everybody. So if you treat everybody the same and they all have kind of got the same experiences, they're all not going to, come out the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a
You
good
know
point.
what, Thomas?
So,
Thomas?
Yes.
We appreciate you. He's actually digging into the root causes.
Yeah.
The root causes as to why we do the things that we do. And I shake all that. I agree with all of that. I think if you grabbed 100 of the people that we know of that do a lot of the male bashing,
Yeah.
and go down the list of all the things the
characteristics.
the characteristics, I would probably be safe to say 100 of them fit that category somewhere, shape, or form.
Right.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think also too, it seems like sometimes it's glorified.
What's
You know
that?
what I mean? Like it's hip to do that. It's hip to call a woman a B or
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like it's yeah, you got her. You know what I mean? You got control of that situation or whatever. You know, I see a lot of that too.
How much of that is does the media play a role?
Oh shoot. 95.999. I'm serious because it is glorified. You know, when you have your woman in check or whatever that is. You know what I mean?
see what you're saying.
Yeah, you know, that happens. I mean, you see it every day. You see it with these youth, especially. You know, I don't know what's happening with that. I mean, but like he said, the whole mother. You know, I know people. They're like, shoot, you know, my own mother. So why should I respect you? That's my blood.
And if we keep, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
If we keeping it real, there's a lot of moms out there that'll cuss their children out.
Oh yeah.
Royally.
Yeah.
That was my feelings around, and you know I shared that with you. That was my feelings around, we have another call. That was my feelings around the brother who got killed by the police with the Asian lady and him bashing black women. I couldn't jump on the bandwagon of, karma, he got what he deserved, because I'm just, my background is psychology. I just cannot do that. Because I just can't. Because I'm
Right.
just like, I don't think that he just fell out the sky
No, of course not.
and just
Something
started
happened.
hitting black women. I was like, let's talk about him, yes, but let's talk about also, if we dig into his background, how many black women we will find who have disappointed him in his lifetime up to that
course,
point.
absolutely.
If we really want to do that, then we're going to have to address us as black women. You
Yeah,
get what I'm saying?
that's
It's
right.
easy for us to talk like this is in a vacuum.
Good
But when
teaching.
you start digging, we better be careful, because we're always talking about roots. You got to dig to get to the root.
Yeah.
You're going to have to deal with some skeletons on the way down there.
Yeah.
And the question is, some of them are going to bring up some issues in your own life. You know, sort of like the Iyanla show. That's what happens. That's why people are always watching crime. Because,
See?
always, because it triggers a lot of stuff. And
Yeah.
it makes you start to look
Yeah.
within yourself. That's why I respect her show.
And it's
Yeah.
a lot of people who don't respect her show
Oh,
for
no.
that same
For that
reason.
Yes,
reason, why you
right.
doing that?
Because they don't want to face a lot of what she's saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
You don't,
I
it's
hear
like
that.
you don't need a degree to figure that out.
No.
Figure some of the stuff that she says
Yeah,
out.
exactly. We have a call? Oh,
Oh,
caller.
are you on that line?
Hello.
Oh,
Hi.
no.
Who are we speaking to?
Hey, this is Wasita, ladies.
Hey, Sister Wasita.
How you doing? Where you calling
Hey,
from,
hey.
Wasita?
Oh, peace and blessings to all my sisters on the panel today. I'm just tuning in and got a free moment. I just wanted to shout out real quick that I think one of the greatest enemies that's causing a lot of the female bashing is two things. One is that television, and the other thing is the lyrics in our musical industry. I think those are two major entities that are fueling the mindset of not only our men, but the other sisters as well. And I also think it's a a deliberate ploy for us to go at each other to keep the division going as well.
Good point. We didn't even touch on the music part.
Right. Excellent.
I might have
point.
a, I might,
Again,
I might
more
have a
root
different
causes.
opinion.
Thank you,
than music
Wasita.
is.
Appreciate you calling in.
Thank you, ladies.
Thanks,
Y'all have a
Rosita.
blessed evening.
You too.
Okay, you too. The music, if we be real, what is it? The Irritated Genie always teach on NWA was the first, one of the first musical acts that started calling women bees, disrespecting, putting that out there.
Right.
Major airways. And that was when? The 80s?
Wasn't pimp culture before that though?
I mean,
What?
but
Sex
was it?
exploitation, like that whole era where
Pimp?
you just had all. No, I'm saying like the pimp culture as far as black people, the pimp movies and stuff. Like, wasn't that before all of that? I'm just asking, because that's still exploitation, right? Okay, so that's why I'm asking. I'm funny with the music thing, and it's as the more I grow, because I don't listen to a lot of crap. So that
They call it trap music.
yeah, no.
yeah,
But I'm
but
just saying, there's a lot of things I don't listen to. However, when you do, like it's always before. To me, it's like what came from first, the chicken or the egg type situation. Because when people sing,
They're singing something
their
about
own
their experience.
experiences. So
Yeah.
is it the lyrics? Yes, but I think it's the glorification of because it's like
Yeah.
you telling your story to me, right? So some stuff happened and you're like, I hate men because my father did this or whatever. Now I'm sitting talking to you and I'm like, dang, that's sad.
Right.
I might not go out and say, man, bump all men. Or it may trigger something in me, in my own experiences in life, and I might jump and say, you know what? She's right. Men in SHIT. You know what I'm saying? Because not because of your story, but because your story has brought up something in me. And I think that's what this music does.
Yes.
I don't necessarily think that's just my opinion.
It's an expression
It's
of
an
art.
right. So people's response, I think, is what we're seeing is a reflection of a lot of trauma in our community, where it's like people just waiting for someone to say something bad so they can say, that's right. It's not that person is now influencing them. It's just that thing been sitting dormant, and that person has now called it to the surface. I truly feel that way.
I don't know if I agree completely with that. Go ahead, Nikki.
Oh.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
okay, so also, for those who don't know, I'm also a singer as well as a songwriter. Right? Thank you. So, I write from my experiences, right? Or hashtag things that I can relate
Personally.
to, right? Personally, right? So if it touches someone, it just touches someone. A lot of people, I mean, how many times have we heard, we all got a story, right, that somebody can relate to. Now, as far as like what's out there now, as far as certain rap lyrics and stuff like that, these rappers that are out here, or anybody that sings a bad song, or to the media, whatever.
Yeah.
I think the issue is, it's like, okay, I want to sing about my truth. How many times we've heard we've seen a music movie and they tried to make this person somebody else, and they're like, no, I want to sing what's true to me. I want to sing what's true to
Right.
me. And so what's true to me is my sorrow, my pain,
Yeah.
my this, my that. I think what happens is, eventually, after you've made your money off of your sorrow and pain or whatever like that, now you're living a good life, right? Supposedly, right? Because money is supposed to make all things happen and change and all of that. What happened is I think that people then get upset, like, okay, why are you still singing about the blues or whatever like this? Now you're in a different situation, so
you appear to be.
Yeah, exactly. So why are you still preaching to my children? Why are you still out here rapping about being in front of the projects or something like that when you don't even live here anymore? You know what I mean? And so then our kids that's coming up, they think it's cool to, like, wear their pants hanging down and all this other stuff like that, when now you're in a different class as a result of your success. But I think that the difference is that we are not, even though these the rappers or whatever, or singers that sing certain lyrics about doing bad things or whatever, they're not advised after that. They still need help. You know what I mean? So they're still going
With
to
all
have
the
that
money
in
they
their-
have.
Huh?
With
Yeah,
all
the
of their
they
money.
have, they still need guidance. So it's not like, you can turn it off once you get rich. These people
No.
still have problems.
And I don't want to minimize influence. Influence
Yeah,
is a
the
real
influence, right.
thing.
That's where I wanna
Right.
go
It
with
is
that.
it's a real thing, even as far as children are concerned, young children.
Right.
You're talking about brain development, all of those type of things. So I'm not minimizing influence. I'm just saying I think the response. For example, that little mini series they had, 13 Reasons. We had the therapist that came on and we were discussing it. It was a series around this girl that committed suicide. Okay, it was this big hoopla how this is going to affect teenagers and influence. And then the other guy, what is his name? I might pronounce it wrong. The rapper Extension. The one that died.
Yeah.
They said he used to sing about suicide and stuff. You should see a lot of the comments the boys were saying. He helped me to be able to deal with my suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. Yet you have another generation
That's
older
like, wait a minute.
that's like, what? Those lyrics should. So for me, I'm just like, with the 13 Reasons, I watched it. For me, I struggled with the fact that, what are y'all talking about? They're teenagers in high school who are having suicidal thoughts. This intention of this thing was to help, and it did. There's a lot of kids that came out and had these conversations with the adults around them. So you could find it on both sides. So to
Yeah.
just simply say narrowly, the lyrics is just, I think it can go both ways, because some of these people are singing about their lives. I just
Right.
think it triggers
Right.
when people listen to it. But I'm not minimizing influence.
Yeah, so
go
that's
ahead.
where
Mhm.
I wanted to go with that, because it can definitely go both ways.
Yeah.
I don't think we should take underestimate like the influence of negative behavior.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like I always make the assumption that if you never cursed a day in your life, you may be Mother Teresa's sister or aunt or somebody. And you get in a household and you stay there
Long
for 6
enough.
weeks, and everybody in the household cursing like a cell.
Yep.
That person who ain't never cursed a day in life will
Eventually.
be too. So associations bring on
Agreed.
similarities, and the more and the music along with the beat, because that's a whole spiritual concept that we added to it.
But the beat is a vehicle that transports it into the subconscious, and the
Right.
subconscious then affects behavior. So I agree.
Exactly.
Yes, I
Exactly.
got what you're saying.
So and then the next thing you know, you rapping to the beat, and you don't, especially when you don't have the wherewithal or the understanding
Yes.
how conscious works. So
Yes.
you're like easily influenced.
Yes.
It's a lot of us out here like that.
Yeah.
Trends. You just follow the trends.
Yeah, just
You
like
know?
watching a movie, and you
Right.
next thing you know, you're dreaming about what you just watched. That's a
That's
subconscious mind.
Right.
And my son is 6, and I talk to him about that part of his mind
Right.
and how that works, because he'll watch something and then he's crying, and I'm just like, that's because, and I have to explain that to
Right.
him. So I agree. I don't disagree. I completely know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I can see both sides of it. Yeah,
Because the negative
Yeah.
behavior can be influenced.
absolutely.
Like copycat, like the school shootings.
Mhm.
30, 40 years ago, it wasn't no every week another school
Yeah.
shooting going on. What happens
We
is
are in
copycat.
different times.
So
But
other little children see them, doing it, and they do it too. And
So-
then next thing you know, it blows up to be a huge problem.
So then now that goes back to what we were talking about, even in our interactions and conversations as far as the genders are concerned.
Yeah.
Because if you have those particular things that you're feeding your spirit with, television, music, right? That information that you're receiving is going somewhere.
Yes.
And it's going to have to come out somewhere.
True.
Right?
Right.
And so now we're interacting, right? And our point of reference is filth.
Right.
And so what does that look like when we're trying to do this relationship thing?
Right.
It looks exactly what we're consuming.
Yeah.
Wasita said Real Housewives. I know the reality TV gets it
Oh,
hard
yeah.
when it comes to these type of
Because
things.
it's always drama.
No, because you're drawn to it because you're drama.
I don't know.
Uh,
I don't know. I think that
Because
might be
there's-
another discussion, girl. That's another show. Oh goodness.
There's some things that you watch, and if you're not there and your spirit not there, you'll be like, ew, I can't watch this.
Right.
There are those things. But when you can sit down, get some popcorn, and you're tickled over exploitation, then you have to check yourself. Like, that's just
Right.
truly how I feel. I've been there. There's some things that's going on in my life. Ratchet TV has helped me through some rough times because I'm looking and saying, yes, somebody has it worse. It's true. That's why a lot of people tune in. We think people are tuning in to reality TV, but tuning into reality TV is tuning out of your reality. That's what happens a lot of times. It's like, I had a rough day at work. My boss made me sick. I wanted to slap them. So let me go and watch Nini slap Cynthia. Yeah, I know the names.
I used to watch all the time too. Until one day my friend came in the room. I was into it too. Watching Nene. And he said, "Why do you watch that?" And I was so ready for a good response. You know, I was and I thought, and I was like, "Why do I watch this?"
I watch for the fashion.
Look, and the fashion is the vehicle to transport all the filth.
Mercy.
Nikki, you getting all that filth along with the fashion.
Ooh, that's cute. Ooh, but girl, she shouldn't have did that. But then again, you know, like I said with that, you know, I'm guilty of watching that, some of the shows. But when I realized, you know, at first when it first came out, was this whole big hoopla about, you know, how we're being portrayed. And I'm like, these are young people. Like, we forget that some of them are young, and then sometimes they mix the older people with these young
some of them
people.
women are in their 40s.
Yeah, they mix them up, and then you see, you know, the separation between the two different mindsets. I'm like, okay, this person is not even there yet, you know.
And then you see them on the Yanla a year later,
Oh, no.
and you're like, oh, that explains
That
it.
explains why
Girl, that's why you were so messed up.
They don't get that deep.
Yeah, but the challenge for me is why I don't watch anymore is because I realize and I understand the damage, the damage it does to our what's the word I'm looking for? Our image. Our image on a public stage, you know, and then when we get shot down in the street and we get no respect, and from other, you know, we looking around like, what, you know, trying to demand respect, but then you turn the TV on and we're entertained by us being our worst.
Yeah.
So we can't have it both ways.
Well, Cynthia just asked her a question,
We can't
being
have it
funny.
both ways.
If she says she loved The Godfather, is she a gangster? No, and I'm saying, you know, it's funny because I'm glad that you said I watch it for the fashion. We are drawn to different things for different reasons, right? But if you're drawn to it because it's like, I need this drama, I need to see this drama, then you have to check your own self.
Yeah.
You know, the Godfather has a lot of principles that people like in their loyalty and all of that stuff. So people are drawn to that for
family.
Exactly. You know, and some people just like glorification of violence, and it's like, the Godfather is it. So it depends. You know within yourself.
That's a good point.
That's it.
That's a good point. Well, I believe we have come to the end of our Empower Hour. Woo.
That was fun.
So tune in next week with Hanifah and I when we come back to you for another impactful topic of discussion. Follow us on Facebook. We're under Empower Hour Talk Show. And if, like always, every week, if we said anything that was impactful that you found interesting and you think other people should hear, spread the news. Our goal here is to widen the net of love here in the Empower Hour, and we need your help to do that.
And thanks Nikki
Thank
for coming
you,
on.
Nikki.
We
Yes,
truly
thank you.
enjoyed you.
We appreciate you.
Fun. Oh my goodness, I
Yes.
didn't even think about the time.
Yeah.
That's when
it
you know
goes by
you're having
very
a good old
quickly.
time
Yeah.
now.
Woo. We also have a YouTube channel for those who can't catch us live under Miss Free the People. That's MS Free the People, and we upload all our videos there so you can see all our past episodes as well. All right, family, until next week, take care of each other. Peace.
Peace. Thanks.